manufacturers where they have to give an account for every single gun they've sold. If a defective gun hurts someone, you can sue the company out of existence. Gun manufacturers aren't selling guns to criminals. Basically, what she wants is for gun manufacturers to stop making guns.
The background check system does save lives, and I think there are some tragedies that could have been avoided if we had a stronger background check system. Charleston, for example, a young man applied for the background check. After the deadline, they said, okay, well, we haven't seen any flags yet. Go ahead and purchase the firearm, and he went into a church and slaughtered black folks.
No. We are not going to do that. The background check system had nothing to do with why the Charleston shooter was able to get a gun. It had everything to do with government incompetence. I did a whole video about it where I said this.
In Charleston, by law, had to wait 3 days before buying the handgun. Time for the FBI to run a background check. That check revealed a drug charge, so the FBI employee kept digging, but called the wrong police agency in South Carolina. Had that employee called the right one, they would have discovered he's admitted to possessing the drug, which should have disqualified him from buying a weapon.
Oh, and it gets worse before it gets worse. Even if they had called the right police department, he was arrested for a misdemeanor, not a felony. And even though he admitted to being in possession of the drugs, simply being in possession of drugs does not make you an unlawful user as required by federal law to deny someone the ability to buy a gun. Hell, even the ATF at the time said it. Current and former ATF officials say a single misdemeanor arrest for possession of a controlled substance would not be disqualified. Federal courts, say, have tended to be strict in interpreting unlawful user, and as a consequence, this provision is not often enforced. Honestly, I hate the fact that I even have to make this argument in defense of such a disgusting human. But the truth is what the truth is. And the truth is, he was able to buy that gun because the government failed, which it does a lot. It is also the reason why I refuse to give up any of my two-way rights, because it would require me to depend on the government to keep me safe when they can't even call the right police department.
And I do think that there's real questions about bias and how these systems are applied and what the different flags look like. And I really think we have to get more focused on what is the goal. Is the goal to preserve some perceived right, or is the goal to save lives?
Actually, the goal is to preserve our two-way rights because it saves lives.
Those laws exist to try to take the gun away from that person before they commit a crime. How do we feel about that?
I'm pretty pro red flag laws.
I understand that these laws should be implemented very carefully. There's a lot that goes into the rules portion of passing these bills that should be very well thought out. But I think the overarching question needs to become, do you agree that people who are in certain situations should have guns or not? But I personally think that there are characteristics you can meet, there are situations you can be in where, yeah, I do not want you owning a gun.
I'm not a fan of red flag laws because of their very nature. There's no way to enforce them without violating someone's constitutional rights, i.e. due process. Only people who don't have a problem with red flag laws are people who see the right to own a gun as a privilege, even if they say they don't. You can't strip someone of their constitutional right, i.e. the right to own a firearm, without due process of the law. If someone is a danger to themselves or is committing a crime, we have legal processes in this country that has those people committed or put in jail and convicted of a crime. If you ask me, red flag laws are the way to take someone's guns away without due process of the law, simply because some addicted girlfriend ran to a judge claiming you was brave out of spite.
Also the first, the question is more so, will the United States of America actually enforce the law the way it needs to be enforced? And no, the United States will not.
I'm curious, who are the people who you think shouldn't have guns? They say there are certain people. What do you have in mind?
Well, I certainly think plenty of right-wing ideologues should not have guns. I think plenty of violently anti-trans people should not have guns. I think violent misogynists should not have guns. I think violent racists should not have guns. I think those who have the audacity to believe in ideology that is, in fact, an incredible danger to most of us who are in society that do not look like them, should not have access to guns.
And this, ladies and gentlemen, is actually violent. Because the type of people who will file red flag laws against you will do so simply because you have a different political view. Notice, he didn't say anything about far left extremists. Everything was about right. The Second Amendment is not a right to people. It is a privilege to her. She believes that people who share her political ideologies should be able to dictate who gets to have them or not. The Being a racist doesn't void your constitutional rights. Being a misogynist doesn't void your constitutional rights. Being a far-right-wing extremist doesn't void your constitutional rights. Second Amendment is literally written because of people who think like her. Left to her, you wouldn't be able to own a home, much less a gun, if you didn't share her political beliefs.
Who are you trying to defend yourself from with an AR-15?
I can
A
answer
zombie
that.
apocalypse?
Anyone.
Someone else with an AR-15.
This guy literally said that he has been shot before, that he almost died, and yet the idea that somebody would have an AR-15 to protect themselves against somebody who might try to shoot them is bizarre to him. I'm pretty sure he hasn't gone online and seen the multitudes of videos of people using AR-15s to defend themselves. It's not like we're theorizing here. It is blatantly in front of us, in our face. We see it all the time.
If you don't like them, that's great. Don't buy them.
That's not how it works, though. You need to get hit with one bullet to die. Just because someone has an AR doesn't mean I got one. We're equal on the same playing field.
That's exactly what it means. Somebody has an AR-15 and I don't. It's not equal. If somebody has an AR-15 and I have an AR-15, it's equal. The AR-15 does a better job at me defending myself against somebody with an AR-15 because I'm aware of the capabilities of the AR-15 towards me if I don't have it.
I think if someone in the top grocery store in Buffalo had an AR-15, that would have not saved lives. If anything, it would have harmed more people.
That is honestly undeniably the dumbest thing. That is literally what we if somebody shows up with an AR-15 and starts shooting them, cops arrive with their AR-15. That's how dumb that's thinking. But yet he truly believes it with his heart. Or you witness sometimes people who you're having a conversation who are really honestly just trying to win the conversation and not really trying to understand what's being said. He's just making an argument about it. That's simply what it is. There's no human in their right mind, nobody in that top grocery store who had the capability, if they had at that moment to have an AR-15, would say, no, I don't want an AR-15 right now, considering there's a guy with an AR-15 shooting at people.
You describe it in a way sounds like an arms race, where if someone else has an AR-15, therefore I need an AR-15, and that the end game is that everyone has an AR-15.
Honestly, you can call it what you want. You can call it an arms race, a bike race, a pillow fight, it doesn't matter. Because at the end of the day, there are people in this country, people in this world who don't care about your ideology. If somebody's trying to kill me with an AR-15, logic dictates I need something that's equal or more than what that person is trying to kill me with. Because I need to win. Because I want to win. Calling it an arms race is this kind of hyperbolic statement to make it seem like it's absurd. It may be absurd, but it is your reality. There are criminals out there who want to kill you. So, you need what you need to protect yourself. Call it an arms race. Call it a dog race. It doesn't matter. Your job is to protect yourself, your family, and the people that you love. That's all that matters.
Why the specific feeling towards the AR-15 and not a handgun with a 30-round magazine? Would you do
I
it?
have the same sentiments with that.
So you feel equally about both?
Yeah, I think we are in a world where we're creating these weapons that are literally built for mass fatalities. And we're encouraging that.
No, what we're encouraging is people being empowered to be able to protect themselves against the psychopaths, against the criminals, against the people who are running around trying to attack us, who are trying to attack other people. That's what we're encouraging. We're empowering people.
The culture that y'all are buying into or encouraging is the same culture that armed the shooter at Tops. It's the same sentiment that armed the shooter in Atlanta. It's the same sentiment that, we should have these guns. So what's the difference between that shooter and just someone else?
Honestly, at this point, I think he's purposely on the line to be betrayed. I think that's his own job. I don't think it's really to have a conversation. The fact that he can't distinguish between law-abiding citizens, someone who won't having a firearm to protect themselves against a criminal, someone who decides to go out and get murdered is insanity. But like I said, this is the very reason why I don't want to leave this idea of our right to own firearms to the subjective standards of people who don't believe we should have them in the first place. And again, when we have these conversations, we have to understand that the inherent goal for a lot of people who who are arguing on the other side of this, that their goal is they don't want guns, period. And so everything they do is going to be designed and designated towards